The foundation builder is how this template was built. So what you get here is a fully functioning version, although it's a demo version. So you can look at everything, you just can't save and publish. So if I try and save, you get this message, it directs you to the App Store to either buy the app or if you already own it, to install it on this site. But this allows you to look at everything in here and see exactly how this foundation builder works. So if I change this primary color, anything that's this primary color will change to whatever I choose there. Same with the secondary. There's some globals here where you can change things like line height, maybe even your breakpoints. You can change your gutter width from 30 pixels if you want it to be 40 perhaps. You know, this is where you change your header font family. Now this presupposes that in your head you've actually loaded this font from somewhere. So you still have to do that in the head of your document. But then this header font family is used any place I want this font to appear. So if you change it here, you don't have to find it in all the places in the CSS where it's been used. This is never used in the CSS. We always use this variable. So if you change it once, it changes it everywhere. And that goes much the same for virtually everything else down here. We have some custom variables. So there's a banner background. That's just a straight color. We have some transitions. That's a mix-in. Look at Sass mix-ins, but basically I can say include transitions, and it sets up these transitions. So that's for things like, see when I hover, it's a nice slow effect there. That's based on CSS transitions, and it's nice to do that through a mix-in, so I don't have to keep typing. I guess I'll just show you. So I don't have to keep typing this all the time. All I have to type is ampersand include transitions in my code, and it automatically inserts all that stuff. So CSS, you see I have some advanced FAQ. CSS, that's specific to this FAQ page. There's some CSS that only applies to this page, so it made sense to put it in a separate module. There's some vendor specific stuff for the Slick Slider, the Light Gallery, Font Awesome and such. And we have some section specific things like the page banners and some typography helpers. I like to use, there's some, you'll see this in the style guide, brand 1, brand 2. Let me just show you the style guide. So there's, if you use brand 1 as a class, it will show that color. If you use BG dash brand 1, it'll set the background of that color. Here's your headings. Here's your spacing. So MT0, MT8, MB10, those are all helpers that are in some of these files here. Those are typography helpers. Here's your spacing helpers. So here's this MT1, MT7, MT9. So when you come across that in the code, all it's doing is a shortcut for margin bottom. And I've used some multipliers here. So if you change the global margin, it's a reference based on that. So everything again is relative under the main variables to global margin. And where you'll find most of your CSS is in this common element stuff. So this is where there's been any real customization. We tried to label things, blog posts. Here's the login pop-up. Here's that an example that this is including breakpoints. Here's that include transitions. So it inserts all those transitions and all those vendor specific transitions when I just use that code. And it defaults to those defaults unless I override them by putting bracket and then the milliseconds and say I only want to do opacity. I can override those things. Again, read up on Sass mix-ins and that'll help you figure that stuff out.